automate. There are many automation tools out there that are just for Twitter, and it makes it so that you can reshare your content, and you can share it multiple times, and you can even, share a certain amount of day, and it's very easy. It's great for public speakers and those who are trying to be expert in their fields. So I don't think, for the most part, most small businesses, Twitter is really not going to help them. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. But if you want to be an expert in your field, or you want to be a public speaker, or you want to be a name, Twitter will be helpful for you. If you are a small business, a brick and mortar business, or just a small business in general, it's really not going to help you. And I'll tell you why. The biggest cons, it's labor intensive. You need to do 15 to 30 tweets per day. One of the reasons you need to do that is those people that are on Twitter are prolific followers of, they'll follow thousands, hundreds or thousands of different people. So say they go through 200 to 500 posts every time that they go on, they're flipping through. That could just be for them 10 minutes of content. So if you didn't post within the last 10 minutes, a lot of your followers are not going to see it. And that's why you have to post 15 to 30 times per day. When you post 15 to 30 times per day, there's also a lot of room for mistakes. So you're trying, you only get a certain amount of characters. If you're posting so much, your content's not going to be as great. And the biggest thing is people very rarely buy directly on or from Twitter. You'll see in a little while how many people actually do. So it's really not a place for small businesses. It's a great place for public speakers or those trying to be experts. Small businesses, it's not so much. LinkedIn's one of my faves. So the thing with LinkedIn is business profiles you have to have. If you have a business, make sure you have a business profile. Make sure you're posting on it every once in a while. But really where you're going to see a return in what you're posting and the time that you're spending on it is on your personal page. So what's great about LinkedIn's personal page is the networking opportunities. Right now, especially right now, we're not in person. We're trying to, network online. Well, this is a tool that helps you network online. What you can do is, after every single meeting you go to, you make sure you write everybody's name down, or like Danielle said, or like Danielle's going to do, when you download that information, everybody that was on this call today, just connect with them. It's just more connections. It's easy to find the people that you want to work with. If everybody has their name spelled correctly and they're on LinkedIn, you can find them very simply. The great thing about LinkedIn is there's a ton of engagement. More people are engaging there than I'm seeing on Facebook. And when you engage with it, if you like a post, your friends or your followers or your connections will see what you're liking. So if somebody liked a post that I did, we do a lot of videos, we get a lot of comments on it. If, say, Mary commented on one of my videos, her connections will see that she commented on it and might even see my video itself showing that she commented on it. So it really does get you a big bang for your buck when you're posting. And you can post as little as 2 times a week and as much as 5. You don't have to go crazy. It's not suggested that you post more than 5 times a week. I even think that's a little bit much. I try to post between 3 and 4 times a week. But you don't want to get too annoying, because the wonderful thing about it is people are seeing your content. So just make sure you're not doing it so much that you're annoying people and then people might unfollow. And a good thing about it too is it's more professional. We're professionals, we're small business owners, we're, individuals trying to, leadership in leadership positions. We want to make sure we're professional. Not saying that you can't do some fun posts on LinkedIn, but for the most part, you want it to be something that a professional will want to see, not, your friend down the street. Cons, there's no individual feed like on Facebook and Instagram. This annoys me. The other day I was looking at a post, I didn't click through to it and I wanted to read the article and I got distracted. I came back and it was gone. And so you can't go to that person's page to try to find it. You have to, I never found it again. So that's a huge con of LinkedIn. And I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of spam. So you want to make sure that it's just one of those things, like only connect with people you think you know, if you don't want to get some of that spam. That's that's one of my biggest words of advice. Don't be spam. You're using this as a networking opportunity. You're not using this to sell. You can't be salesy. If you want to find people, like I always say, LinkedIn is ideal for people in the real estate industry, because everyone in the real estate industry needs other people. Realtors need mortgage people need title people. They all need each other to work together. So it's a great way to find how you work together. But when you message these people, don't go through, I have the best mortgage rates, 2.9%, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear, hey, would you like to talk on the phone? Would you like to, well, if you can, grab a cup of coffee. They want to connect with you. It's not about being salesy. So make sure you're using LinkedIn in the correct way. If you do, it's a wonderful tool, basically for everyone. Instagram is awesome. It's very searchable, especially because of all the hashtags. If you have the correct hashtag on your posts, people can find you if they're looking for something specific. So, I have a plumber on there. So we have plumbing New Jersey. Make sure if it's something that people want to search for, that you have that hashtag so that people can see you even if they're not following you. Instagram is very easy to edit pictures. They have different, filters. They have different things that they use. It's an easy platform to edit any pictures that you need to. Instagram is a great way to show your personality. So one of the biggest things as a small business owner is that I want to make sure people get to know me, and for my clients, I want to make sure they get to know them. If it's a company that is more on the professional side and very, maybe not as fun, want to show that they're extremely professional, that's what we're going to show. We're not going to show crazy pictures of, bloopers doing a video or anything. Whereas for my business, I want to show that not only do we know about social media and website design and all the fun stuff behind me, but that we have fun with it. And so, although I hate doing them, we try to do videos at least once a week. And a lot of time, and sometimes when my employee and I were together, we would have a lot of bloopers. So sometimes we would do a blooper reel and it would just be us cracking up hysterically. Well, people got to know that we have fun in our jobs and we love our jobs, and we can show the personality of our business. You can do that with your business. Think about what your personality is and show it through pictures. Instagram, you can showcase products. If you have a specific product you want to sell, show it in all different ways. Show it just by itself, show it in a room full of other things, make sure you're doing that. A great part about Instagram is there's location tagging. So for the brick and mortar businesses, restaurants, make sure you're tagging the location. So if somebody's like, oh, that looks delicious, where do I go? Well, it's right there in the post. One great, awesome thing is there's new features always popping up. So somebody that you might want to follow is their social media examiner. They kind of always tell you ahead of time, hey, they're releasing this or they're doing this. There's always so many things being released that it's sometimes hard to keep up with it. So follow them, they'll let you know, and it's always fun stuff. Now you could do polls on stories, and you could do fun questionnaires. It's just always something new and fun to get that high rate of engagement that Instagram also has, and that's the next pro. Facebook the engagement has gone down quite a bit, and I'm sure you've all seen that on your own business pages, but Instagram's still there. There's a high rate of engagement when people are showing their personality and showing the differences in their businesses. Cons, this isn't for everybody. It's not for every, we do not do Instagram for our accountant client, it's just not, one, it's not visual. Two, although my accountant client is amazing, there's not much personality to accountants. Like, you're not going to show a calculator. You're just not. But, we do it for, ideally a salon. we're showing all the pictures of all the different hairstyles. We're doing videos to show all the pictures. So you have to think, will this show my personality? Will it show my business? If not, it might not be worth it because it is a little bit time consuming. Any social media is. You want to do at least 5 posts a week on Instagram. So, 1 a day would be fine. It isn't for every age group. Now, you might be saying, hey, I'm older, I'm on Instagram, and very good. But for the most part, it's still just for younger audiences. And it just most of the older generation hasn't gone on it. So, you have to think if your ideal client is 35 and up, it might not be for you. You might not want to put the time into Instagram. My biggest problem with it, unless you're doing a sponsored ad, there's no clickable links. So if you wanted to show an article or a blog that you wrote or some information and you can't have a clickable link. There is something called Linktree. You can look into Linktree, and what it basically is you can click to the Linktree and then it has all different, you can put any of links that you want to. So if you do want to share a blog or a few blogs, you would put them on this Linktree account, and then your account will link to the Linktree, and then they can actually link out and see what you are talking about. Facebook. Facebook, there's a large audience potential. There's 2 billion people on Facebook right now. Paid social delivery on Facebook and Instagram. So when you do a post on which we're going to talk about later, when you do a post, you want to, you can actually, a paid social post, you can actually have it go to Facebook and Instagram. So it's like a 2-for-1 basically. And depending on what it is, you cannot do following. So if you want on Facebook, if you want to do an ad and you want people to follow you, you can do that. On Instagram, you cannot still. I'm hoping eventually they have that feature. I've been hoping for a while, but on Instagram, basically what you kind of have to do on Instagram is just 1, make sure you have amazing content that people want to follow you. 2, those hashtags are super important. And 3, following people that might be your ideal clientele so that hopefully they follow you back. Those are the different ways to get people to follow you. On Facebook, it's nice because you can just do a following ad. You can show something that you're doing. You can show a product or your service, and hopefully people will follow your page. But you can actually pay to get people to follow. And we like to keep it under $1.50 or less for every follow or like that we get. So if you're putting $20 towards it, if you're getting a return of $1.50 or less, it means your ads are doing really well. Obviously, if you can get it, less than $1, less than 50 cents, that's amazing. But $1.50 is kind of where we want to make sure we're 100% under $1.50. There's a bunch of targeting capabilities. Now, Facebook recently took away a lot of them. It's getting much stricter, and they did take away a lot of targeting capabilities. I used to be able to follow people that said, I used to be able to target to business owners. Now, it would be people that had in their description that I own Social Trends. So I would try to find those people that own. Now it's just interests. So we have to follow people that are interested in being a business owner. Now, a lot of them probably are small business owners, but they are taking away a lot of the capabilities they have. That being said, you still have a really, really good chance of finding your ideal client if you can just think of interests they may have, so like our plumbing client, when we try to target people that are homeowners or people that are looking for, plumbing services, but not as much. We're just looking for people that own homes. Anybody that owns homes, you always need a good plumber. And when you find one, you keep them. For construction, if we are selling kitchen remodels, we're going to look for people that are interested in kitchen remodels. If you've ever redone a kitchen, that, you look at lots and lots of pictures before you actually redo the kitchen. So we're able to track that, and we're able to target those people that have been looking at kitchens. The great thing about it is when you do paid social media, there's a lot of, even when you don't, there's a lot of audience insights and great analytics. So even if you're not doing the paying and you're just doing your organic posts, You can go in and see, you know, how many more people liked it. Did they like this post? Did they not like that post? On the left-hand side, you can see every post that you've ever posted. If you go to publishing tools and in your business account, and then you can go to the ones that are already published, you can see which ones people liked. You can see the time of day that was posted. You can track and see how many people, you know, oh, these ones did well. Oh, they were all posted at noon. Maybe I should start posting at noon more. Or these all did well. Oh, they're all quotes. Why don't I should do a couple more quotes. So you can actually track and see what's doing well and what's not. And that way, as you grow and as you continue to do social media, you are doing more of the stuff that's important and less of the stuff that's not. Now, I do one big thing that I've always told people is that you can't just, even if the posts that are personal, we're going to talk about this later, but I'm going to tell them now. Even if the posts that are personal do the best. So let's talk about, I have a Pilates studio that's a client. And so, yes, we want to post Pilates poses and we want to post what they're doing in the Pilates studio. And those ones do the best, but you can't just post those, because if you notice you just post about Pilates studio and Pilates what's going on, your engagement is actually going to go down. Sometimes you need that filler posts of quotes or things that are funny, or people might not engage with them as much, but they do remember those. And if they have other things that they're looking at, it won't be as loud with the personal stuff. So it's always good to add other kinds of content. You don't want, let's go back to the plumber. You don't always want to, you don't want to see a bunch of kitchens. Now, I love kitchens and I'm going to redo mine eventually. So I'm looking at them, but that's not all I want to see. I want to see funny things, or we do tips sometimes. So we did tips on how to make sure your pipes don't burst. There's all these different things. The biggest thing, and the reason we're in business, is it's really hard to do your own posts because you're looking at it from what you want to tell your client. Like, I want my potential clients, I want them to know that I do, website design and graphic design, and I want them to know how much this is, and this is a good price in comparison to this person. That's not what my clients want to see. My clients or potential clients want to see things like this. They want to hear tips about how to do Facebook on their own, and if they can't do it or they get big enough, then they call us. So you want to make sure you're not just shoving down their throats of what you want. You want to ask, if you have clients that you are close with, call them and say, what would you like to see from me? And they might come up with stuff you've never even thought of. We have a bankruptcy lawyer that we're doing stuff for, and we're trying to think outside of the box. So instead of, just talking about bankruptcy, which gets not very interesting at times, we're going to start doing tips on how to budget better. You have to think about what the client or potential client wants to hear, not just what you want to tell them. So, and another great thing about Facebook is there's a low CPC, that's cost per click. Like I said, I always try $1.50 is kind of for link clicks, and for likes is kind of where I am. We can usually get lower. So you have to think, if you're paying $1 for somebody to click through to your website, that's awesome, especially in comparison to something like Google Ads. Google Ads, we have very little clients that are just getting, we probably only have 1 or 2 clients that you can get people to click through to your website for less than $1. You're paying sometimes $5. We had one client that, now we didn't do it for them, but their cost per click was $52 a click. We basically told them their return wasn't there. We're probably not going to do that right now. But for if you can get people to click through your website for 50 cents a click, that's awesome. The cons is engagement's really low right now. I'm sure you've seen that, and I'm sure you're kind of that person. Even if you are scrolling through and you read an article and the article's super interesting, when you go back to Facebook, are you liking it? Probably not. You liked it, you just went back. So engagement is low. You cannot get upset about that. You have to just keep chugging along. You make sure you're doing your ads, make sure you're doing your posts, and it is what it is at this point. The biggest thing is ever-changing capabilities means ever-changing system. Again, this is why we're in business. Where every day when we go in, something is new. It gets confusing. It's not just you. I try to tell people that they think it's them and they give up and I can't do this. I'm not doing it. It's not just you. One time we went in, I want to say it was about a year and a half ago, we went in and you legitimately for an entire day could not post. Like you could not, the posting part was completely gone. They had started making that publishing tools I was talking about before, and the scheduling post is in that, and legitimately that's the only place we could find to post. It took us like 3 hours to even find that. It came back the next day, but it's scary when you go in there and it's my job to post for my clients and I can't do it. So don't think that it's just you. The biggest con about Facebook, when I started my business 8 years ago, say I had a client that had 300 followers. I would post something and 1,700 people would see it. Because like LinkedIn is still doing, which is one of the reasons I love LinkedIn, is if somebody liked something, it said, your friend Sue liked this nursery school, and you would see all the different ones that people liked in the feed. And that was amazing. So many different people would see. Now, I think the percentage rate is like 10%. They say it's like 2 to 5% of your followers. We're noticing they're showing it about 10 to 10%, maybe 20 sometimes, depending on how interesting it is, to your followers. So if you post something, say you post 5 times a week, and you have 200 followers, maybe you're lucky if 100 followers see those. You have to pay to play. If you want your specific followers to see something specific, you gotta pay for it. It's still, again, you still need to post because there are people seeing it, and if people share it, there's more people seeing it. So you do need to post, but you should post at least 3 times a week. Ideally, you want to post once a day, but you have to be doing ads if you want people to see what you're posting and what you're selling. And we're going to talk about that. That's the next part. Okay, so you picked what you're going to do. You love it. You're so excited to do Facebook, and you're so excited to do Instagram and LinkedIn. Those are my top 3. If I had to pick for most clients, it's LinkedIn, personal, Facebook as number 1. Do both of them. Second would be Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Again, Twitter is only if you want to be a public speaker. Pinterest is if you're selling something. Or another one would be great for people like event planners for Pinterest. If you are if you're hosting an event and you're basically only almost using it as a tool, you can say to a client, go to my Pinterest and see all the different events I've had, pin the ones you like, and then we can talk about that and see how they work together. So you can use it as a tool too. It might not, and then you wouldn't have to post as much if you're doing it that way. But for the most part, you're looking at LinkedIn and Facebook. Almost every business should be on that. I'm talking 95% of the businesses should be on those. And then Instagram. So I use Photoshop, but for photo editing, but I've heard PicMonkey is amazing. So if you have a photo that you need to edit, you need to make it lighter, you need to crop it, I've heard PicMonkey is amazing. Canva, if you haven't heard of Canva, you need to get on. I'm sure most of you have, but you have to get on. What's amazing about Canva is not only do they give you ideas, they give you templates. There's free pictures on there. You can pay more sometimes. You can pay like $1. If you see the perfect picture and it says you have to pay for it, it's usually about $1. So worth it sometimes. There's stickers. They actually, funny enough, I did for my fifth grader, we had to, as parents, do like a presentation. We didn't have to. I did a presentation for my kid, and all the kids in the class used Canva. So I taught them how to use Canva. So if a group of 5th graders can do it, you can do it. I promise you. And I actually learned doing that you can do, how there's PowerPoint presentations? They actually have presentations on Canva now that are animated. So you can, if I wanted to, I could do this presentation with like the graphics on the side being animated. It's really interesting. There's so many things that you can do. So go to canva.com for that. Videos. You want to make sure on every platform you are doing videos. There's different rules for each platform and you'll learn them as you do them. But I've heard Animoto is really good. We prefer Magisto just because it works better for our business. But what's awesome about these videos is you can pay more and you can get stock photos and stock videos, and you can make different kinds of videos. I'm going to show you one at the end of the presentation that we made using Magisto. Now, you want to make sure that you are doing posts. You can't schedule every single post that you have because you want to make sure you're being social. And then if you're somewhere, you know, it's popping up, and if you're, and I always forget to do this for my own business, and so I need to listen to my own advice. But if I'm doing a speaking event, like I should have posted that I'm doing this today. I didn't. So make sure you're not me. And if you're doing a presentation or you're, you know, there's a new sale or you just got something in and, you know, it's coming off the truck, take pictures of it, show real-time stuff. But we are business owners or we are leaders and we do not have the time to do this every day. That's, you know, we don't. So a great thing is to schedule the posts. And in these scheduling apps, there's a lot more analytics than even Facebook will show you. So I prefer Hootsuite. I've used it for 8 years. I've used Buffer before. It's, you know, and I've heard Sprout Social is great. So I know Hootsuite still has a free account. They don't give you that much with it, but if you just have one or two, if you're just doing Facebook and LinkedIn, you can do that for free, you know, a certain amount of posts a month. So definitely try it out and see. It will really help you. Oh, one other word of advice that I have is, once you pick, you're using all these tools and you're having a great time and you're scheduling, and there's a day you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing my posts. Don't do them. Do not do these until you're in the mood to do them. And I know that seems like a silly request from me, but Renee, who works for me, she's our director of communications, she'll send me posts that she came up with, and I can immediately tell if she was in the mood to do them or not. If you are in the mood to do them, they come out awesome. They keep going. You have ideas. They're pretty. They're this, they're that. If you're not in the mood to do them, you can tell it's forced, and your clients or your potential clients will also be able to tell it's forced. So if you are in the mood to do posts, and sometimes, you know, say I'm looking up stuff like funny social media things. If I download 60 of them, I can just keep them in a folder to take later. So say you're just, you know, you just find yourself, you know, I don't feel like doing my work. Let me just, you know, find funny things about elder law. I don't know, or like elderly people. I have a client that's an elder law attorney. If you can find something, we did one time of like, and we've all done this, like, oh, I just walked into a room and forgot what it was. How many times have you done that today? You know, you can find funny things. If you're in the mood to do it, keep going. If you're not, save it for another day. Okay, so now we're going to talk about that pay to play aspect. I'm just checking my time. Okie doke. So 74% of consumers rely on social media to make buying decisions. People are more likely to buy from a brand they follow on Facebook more than 7 other platforms. So 52% of people will buy from Facebook. Look at the other ones. That's why Facebook for me is the best still for almost everyone. Okay, vintage truck purveyors. I am just using them as an example. This is one of my clients. They sell Uppies. These are called Uppies. They're amazing. We just actually went to their showroom and saw all of them. I have a picture of it in a little bit, but these are the people I'm using just to show you different types of ads. Okay. Objectives for Facebook and Instagram. There's different objectives you can pick. Now, this is the campaign management. This is on the back end. This is called Ads Manager. If you look on the left-hand side for Facebook, you can see it says, you know, Ads Manager. You go there. This is not boosting a post. Now, boosting a post is a great start if you are trying to pay to play. Start with that. But as you get better at that, you want to start doing the Ads Manager, because you can look at how much more information you can give and how much better targeting you can do. So there's traffic, engagement, app installs. You could do video views. If you have a event, you can make sure you want more people at the event. You can actually specifically target that. As far as audience, you do want people to follow you, you do, but it's more about quality versus quantity. I always say you want enough people to follow you where if somebody was going to look for you, they're like, oh, okay, they have a good following. That's great. You don't need 5,000 followers in order to be able to do what you need to do. That's where the ads come in. And like I said, you want to have at least enough that legitimizes you. If you only have 20 followers and you're trying to sell a product, people are not going to buy from you. So try to get your numbers, your likes, your followers up enough that it legitimizes you, and then start using those ads to get link clicks, which we're going to talk about next. So one of the things you can do is for post engagement. Post engagement means page engagement where people are clicking, sharing, liking, or responding. You could do page likes, or you could do event responses. You can see here, now this doesn't happen with everyone, but Vintage Truck Purveyors hits it out of the park with everything we do from them, so that's why I picked them. But for $200, we got 1,300 likes. For $200, we got 1,300 likes. That's at 50. Remember I told you I wanted it to be under $1.50 a like? We got them for 15 cents a like. So, you want to make sure you're using these numbers to help you. If you're noticing you're at $1.75 a like, you want to make sure that you switch out your ad. Your ad's not working. Another one is, this is what I think is the most important. Once you get people to follow your page, you really want people to go to your website. If you're selling anything, whether it's a product or a service, you want people to go to your website to be able to buy. So here for $200, we got 2,000 people to their 7,000 people to their website. We are at 3 cents a click. Remember, I wanted to be under $1.50. Again, this doesn't happen with everybody. I use them because they're the best. And if you want to buy an app, you should. Now, these are types of posts. When you do your ads and your posts, there are rules. You used to have to have less than 20% wording. So this is what we're doing. This is the ad we're doing right now, 10% off new Ape Classics. You see how the wording at the bottom, and then we have the picture at the top. That's actually a rule for Facebook. But I just wanted to show you different kinds. All this stuff you can do in Canva. Here is one of the Apes. We have our information here. This is a Ape story. They used to only have vintage ones. They now have new ones. So all of the followers we're trying to tell them there's new Apes out there. This is what I was talking about. You want real time. You can see my little head in the background there. Renee and I went to their warehouse. They had just gotten a shipment. We wanted to show, look, they're here. Order them now. You want to make sure you're not just scheduling, you're doing these real time posts. And then you always have to do something fun. I mean, people love quotes, they still do, and they love funny stuff. You want to make sure you're not just doing Ape. You're doing quotes, we do a lot of business quotes. Our followers are entrepreneurs. We call them small business, it's people that get addicted to owning small businesses. This is just another avenue they can go. There are restaurants that want to do these. There are bars. They make these into the mobile bars. That's our biggest one. So we want to make sure the posts that we're doing, not just show Ape. We want to show different things to them. And then this was a video we did. This was done from Magisto. Real simple. Pictures coming in. Shows what we're doing. You don't want to keep doing same post after same post after same post. You need to make sure you're doing all different kind of things along with those real life situations. And that's it. I did pretty good on time, right?
Yeah, thank you, Dawn. That was
on time. 2 minutes over.
Super informative, and I want one of those. I want one of those from Vintage. They're really, really cool.
I told him this weekend that my husband and I will end up buying one before in the next few years. I know.
Cool. So we do have a couple of questions, and again, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to throw it in the chat. So looking for the best ways to obtain new social media followers. Do you have any
So that's basically ads. So again, for LinkedIn, you're just basically trying to connect with people, have them connect back. Ideally, you want to connect with people that you know. So anybody on this call is in the Toms River Chamber. Make sure you're getting all their names at the end, and you go on LinkedIn and you check them in. And actually, I have to tell you, Danielle, with the conversations and coffee yesterday, I connected with everyone I didn't know while we were on there. You know, we take a break and I connected, and I actually got a referral already.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and with Facebook,
the chamber too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Do the conversation and coffee. It's great. And then for Facebook, it's pay to play. You have to pay. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you have to pay for your followers. And then on Instagram, it is using hashtags, making sure your content is up to par, and following those that you kind of want them to follow you back.
Okay, awesome. And then what types of images and posts are getting the most attention right now?
So it depends on your business. All my businesses are different, and that's why every month we're constantly going through analytics, you know, and seeing, is this working? Is this not working? What's working the best? Again, that being said, even if some stuff doesn't work perfectly, you can't do the same kind of post over and over and over again. So even if some aren't working, you still have to throw some of those other, I call them filler pieces, filler stuff in.
All right, great. And then I know that you mentioned Buffer and you know, Hootsuite. We use Content Studio, but is it better to individually post to each platform or use something like I know that saves time, obviously, you know, the Hootsuite and the Buffer saves time, but if you're creating one post and all the different platforms kind of you know, lend themselves to different, you know, is that time consuming, or should you post separately?
So what we do is let's just say Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We're posting on all three of those. I'm not posting everything on LinkedIn than I am on the other two.
Okay.
I kind of do that one separately. For Facebook and Instagram, I personally think that when you have hashtags on Facebook, it looks unprofessional. It looks like you're posting to both of them because hashtags don't really work on Facebook. And again, to me, it just looks like I'm doing them both at once. So what we do is we post on Facebook and Instagram, and we either post it with the hashtags and then go into all the Facebook posts and delete the hashtags, or we do it opposite where we add the hashtags to Instagram. So we'll post them both at the same time, but there's one extra step for Instagram. And then as far as LinkedIn, you do want to use hashtags are really working on LinkedIn, but you don't want as many. Like, you know, on Instagram, you could do a ton of them. You want 3 to 5, maybe 6 hashtags on LinkedIn. So I'll look at all my posts, I'll pick the LinkedIn appropriate ones out and post on that with just a few hashtags.
Okay.
So it's the same post. Make sure you're using the same post. But just only pull the ones that are LinkedIn appropriate.
Okay. And then amazing content, you know, are you just having to be super creative in your amazing content? Can we find amazing content somewhere? You know, how are we deciding what to post?
You stalk other businesses.
Okay.
follow ones that, you know, they don't have to be, and I wouldn't follow, I mean, you can follow ones that are close around here, but you don't want to like their ideas either. So a lot of times I'll you know, landscaper in California, and I'll follow a bunch of landscapers in California, see what they're doing, so that when I do my landscaper clients, I'm, you know, up to par. You're using your own analytics to see what's going to work, but you can get ideas from other people.
Okay. And then do you have any thoughts on Adobe Spark tools compared to your recommended tools?
I don't. No, I use Photoshop. I've never used Adobe Spark tools, to be honest with you.
Okay. Let's see. And then what about Insta stories and Facebook stories? Are they effective? Yes.
Instagram stories for sure. Instagram stories are, you know, Renee, the director of communications, swears that nobody's actually looking at posts anymore and they're only looking at stories. So yes, you want to make sure you're doing stories for sure. To make it easier on yourself, you can do ones that you can just share posts to the stories and make sure you're doing highlighted ones. So you can do different categories to make sure that those stick, and then there's ones that go away. But yes, to answer your question, make sure you're definitely doing Instagram stories. Facebook's still kind of up in the air.
Okay. And then has anyone joined Clubhouse? I'm not even sure what Clubhouse is. Do you know?
No. I don't.
And then we are talking about emailing presentations, and John, I'll take care of emailing Dawn's presentation out. I did record this. I did hit record a little bit late, so I started on the Twitter section, but I will send that out as well. Any advice on audience sizes and interests to target for paid, to target for paid Facebook ads? Any ideal daily ad spend for lead pages to maximize algorithms?
No, the more you spend, the more you're going to get in return, to be honest with you. We will not take on a client that doesn't spend at least $50 a month on ads. Ideally, you want 60. You want to be able to do $1 a day and continue. There's like a learning period for it. It's not like Google Ads. There's not as big of a learning period, but ideally you want to keep the ads going. So if you're going to do $1 a day, you put $60 in for 2 months, and then you can see if it's not working, you can stop the ad, but you don't want to keep stopping and starting them. So you want to do, I guess my biggest thing is you can't do less than $1 a day. Let the ad run until you're noticing that it's not working anymore. And when you want to swap it out, you stop it.
Okay. And then can you explain what a story is? Mary doesn't understand why a story versus a post.
Hold on. Here, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm looking, hold on.
Okay.
It's just a different way to, okay, so let me do our plumber. No, I'll do vintage truck repairers. So the stories are at the top. Oh, you can't even see it. The stories are at the top. And basically the stories are, there's 2 different ways to do it. They only run for 24 hours. And they run continuously. So if you're looking at a story, it goes to the next story, it goes to the next story. Mary, I don't know why it's so, I don't know why it's so popular, because I don't particularly care for it. But Renee, I will have to tell you, Renee does all our Instagram because she loves it and she's obsessed with it, and she's younger. So I don't know why, Mary, I don't.
And then how do you schedule posts to go out automatically?
So that's on those apps. You sign up for one of those apps, and then you press schedule, and you can do it. If you don't want to sign up for the app, you can actually do it through Facebook. It's in that publishing tools I was telling you about. They moved it, but you can schedule on Facebook as well. It's just not as easy. So.
And you did mention that Hootsuite offers a free so it's Hootsuite, Linda, it's Hootsuite, and they do offer a free subscription. You can only schedule a certain amount of posts a month, I believe, but
you have to really look for it. Like they used to have it on the pricing page. They don't. You have to Google Hootsuite free version, and then you'll be able to find the link.
And then you link up all your platforms, and then one post goes to every platform.
Yes.
Yes. Does anybody have any additional questions? I think we're doing great on time. Thanks, Dawn. And thank you so much for all the amazing content. Like I said, I did record it. I started a little bit late, and I apologize for that. But I will send out the recording. I will send out Dawn's slides. Is that okay, Dawn? Your slides I'll send out as well. And then
I'll probably take my client stuff off of it, but yeah.
Yep, send me that, and then I'll send it out to everybody. And then I'm also going to send out the chat so everybody can connect with each other through LinkedIn. So thank you again, Dawn. This has been super informative. I'm sure we could spend hours and hours talking about social media because I have one last question. Wait, how much time per day should you be spending on social media?
That's a hard one. So if you do what I say and do it when you like to do it, yeah, you won't even notice the time flying by, but you will also spend less time on it. So if you're scheduling, I mean, sometimes ideally, I would say take a whole day when you feel in the mood for it, take a whole day and get yourself 2-3 months done, except for those things that are coming in. Like there's really no set amount of time, and especially how fast you work if you're in the mood to do it. But yeah, there's no set amount of time. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. And then I just want to remind everybody that we are going to be doing this event, Strategies for Success. Is this the first? It's the second Thursday of every month at lunchtime, 12 to 1. So put it on your calendars. Next month, we are going to be hearing from Minetti Standard, Frank Minetti from Minetti Standard, and he's going to be talking about loan forgiveness for PPP and deductibility for your taxes and all that good stuff. And then I will announce next month what it's going to be for March. And I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to Dawn. Did you put your information in the chat?
Nope.
All right. So Dawn will put her information in the chat. And if you have any questions for the chamber, please feel free. And also, please feel free to register for our next Member Connect, which is February 12th, 7:30 a.m. And that will be virtual. We are holding our events for February virtually and taking it week by week and month by month with decisions. But thank you all for joining us. I hope you found value in this. Dawn was awesome. Thank you, Dawn, so much, and have a great day.